Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining from. Welcome to the session. Just before we get started, just drop in the chat box, let us know where you're joining from, say hello, and let us know if you're using any National Geographic learning materials as well. We love to hear and try and personalise the session. When you're writing in the chat box as well, make sure that you have changed who you're sending it to, so it's going to everyone and not just hosts and panelists, and then everyone can see your questions and comments. Thessaloniki, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Irini. Good morning from Thessaloniki. Nice to have people from Greece once again. Hello, Anna. Good morning. Buongiorno. Hello, Hannah. All right, from the south of France. Nice. More people from Italy. Buongiorno. Hi, Kevin from Poland.
I'm jealous of everyone that's joining from a sunny location. It's pretty miserable in the UK today, so
yeah, we should start traveling around.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, saying it's miserable.
We all need to go to Thessaloniki. I think that's the moral of this. Okay, I think it's kind of stopped filtering in, so I'm just going to do a few introductory words, and then I will pass over to Sonia. So good morning, hello and welcome to this Start Strong session, making the most of Spark. This is our kind of intermediate session for the series. We had our Getting Started with Spark sessions. We've got Making the Most of, and if you feel like you want to know more after you've attended this session, then you can register for one of our Mastering Spark sessions, which is another step up. So today's session is presented by Sonia Giordano, our Customer Success Manager for National Geographic Learning EMEA. I'm just going to go over a few housekeeping notes. I think all of you have found the chat function already to put in some comments. As I said, make sure that you're sending your message to everyone and not just hosts and panelists. You'll also see at the bottom the Q&A button. If you do have specific questions for me or for Sonia about the session, please do pop your questions into the Q&A box. Sometimes they get lost in the chat if the chat's moving. So if you have questions, pop them in the Q&A and we'll get to them either when we pause throughout the session, or we've allocated some time specifically for questions at the end. So yeah, please do that. Just finally, we are recording this session and we will share that with you within the next week or so as well. So not directly after, but we will send the recording round of this if you want to watch anything that you've missed. So thank you again for joining, and Sonia, I'll hand over to you.
Thank you very much, Lucy, and welcome everybody. Good morning. We're gonna get started, and as Lucy was saying, this is the second of the 3-level live tutorials that we will be running this month to help you feel confident with the Spark, our digital platform. In the first one, we covered how to get started with Spark, how to get your students enrolled in your course, and also how to use the CPT, the classroom presentation tool, and the teacher resources. And today, the second webinar in orange here, we will have a look at assignments, how to assign activities, extra activities for homework for your students to complete online or offline. And finally, the final session, which is shown here with the green framework, is for advanced users. So once you have achieved and attended the first 2 webinars, you can join us for the third one, where we're gonna have a look at tests and how to assign tests and quizzes online. Okay, right. So let's get started. I will walk you through the agenda, and we will have a look at assignments, as I said. So we're gonna see how you can use the platform to assign extra practice, revision exercises, different from those in the students' book, different from those in the workbook, if your students are using a workbook, those available on the online practice section of Spark. And obviously, then when you create an assignment, you can pick and choose. As we will see today, you can preview the activities and add them as part of an assignment. We will also explore the student view, so student accounts. How is it that your students can access and complete those activities that you assign for them, and any extra unassigned activities available from Spark. And then we will see how they can track their own progress, how they can view their own grades through their account. And we'll go back to our teacher accounts to see what is it that teachers can see when students have started completing assignments and you want to track class and individual student performance, okay, using the gradebook or tracking performance by assignment, okay? Remember that there are activities, most of the activities on Spark are automatically graded by the platform, so good news, you won't have to spend time marking them, except for the open-ended tasks, speaking and writing. And so those are the ones for which you will need to learn how to manually grade tasks, okay? So provide your feedback. We will see that, and we will end up by having a look at how to generate and export reports from the gradebook, okay? Feel free to type your questions in the chat box as Julie suggested, as Lucy suggested, and we will do our best to cover them during the session or at the end, okay? Right, so for those who join us in the first webinar, I'm sure that this will be familiar to you because the Spark is the digital platform where everything you and your students will need can be found, everything that is associated to the program that you're using. It's all in one place with just one set of credentials and available anytime, anywhere. You can use it on a desktop, with a tablet, or it's also mobile compatible. And it allows your students to easily work online and offline with the Students app, okay? This means that teachers and students who are using many of our titles like New Close-Up, Voices, Reflect, Look, Our World, can now access all of the digital tools that come with our programs, and these support every stage of teaching and learning. So something else that we saw in the previous session, and we will review quickly today, is this diagram that describes the different jobs, the teaching jobs that Spark can help you with, okay? And today we will see a couple of them. We will see how you can assign practice, as I said, extra activities for your students to complete online. And those activities reinforce and consolidate in class lessons. So these are based on the online practice content that is available from Spark. And then obviously we will see how you can track student and class progress in the course gradebook, okay? Obviously here, as your students complete assignments, you will be able to see what their scores are and generate reports, okay? We will have a look at these two categories. So which means that by the end of the session today, you will know how to set up an assignment and how to track progress and obviously work on reports, all right? Good. So without further ado, let's start our demo. So I will start sharing my screen and I will start showing you my teacher's account, okay? I'm sure that for those who have already been provided with your credentials and your account has been set up, you are familiar with this, the dashboard, what you can see when you access a Spark. And once you have created a course, as we saw in the first of our webinars, okay? So today we will learn how to create an assignment. That's why we will navigate to the assignments page here from the top navigation menu, okay? I will click there and I will start creating an assignment, okay? If it's the first time that you're doing this, you won't see any assignments in this list. Obviously, in my case, I have previously set up assignments for my groups. That's why they are listed here and you can see them. We will see this later when we have a look at how you can track progress. But for the time, for now, we will start by creating a new assignment from this button at the top, okay? Clicking on new assignment. And you will start this three-step process, okay? You have to complete 3 steps to create an assignment. The first one is prompting you to give your assignment a name. Here, we recommend using the title of the book that you're using and giving your assignment a name that is easy for you to identify when later you have to track progress, and also for your students to know what is part of that assignment, if it's the whole unit, or for example, in my case, I would like to include, for example, only vocabulary and grammar, because after dealing with Unit 3 in the classroom, I think that it would be worth for my students to review the content that we have covered in the class, right? So I'm going to assign activities that are part of this Unit 3, but only about grammar and vocab. This is totally up to you. You can decide whether you want to assign the whole unit, as we will see now in step 2, when we select the content, or if you just want to pick and choose and select some of the activities as part of the lessons. Okay, next step here on the right, an important one. By default, students are given 1 month to complete an assignment, but you can easily modify that. And for example, here, starting today, I can just give them a couple of weeks to complete this assignment, so finishing on the 3rd of October. That's totally up to you, and it's also possible for teachers to plan and set up assignments in advance. For example, I could decide whether I would like this assignment to be available for my students as of the 26th of September, so that I don't have to remember next week and come back again and set them up. Okay, you can even plan your assignments ahead of time for the whole course if you want. Okay, so I will leave it as it is now, and then here are a couple of options. Notes, if you would like to provide any additional indication for your students, instructions in their own language, for example, for students with a low level. And here there are 2 important boxes. The no dates one means that if you tick this box, the assignment will be valid for as long as the course is active. Okay, meaning that students won't have a due date to complete this assignment. So if I tick there, you see that no dates are given. Our recommendation for teachers is always to set the pace for the course. So obviously it makes sense that once you complete a unit in the classroom, then you set up an assignment to get your students to complete those tasks specifically in that moment, in that period of the course, right? But it's totally up to you, it's flexible. Then this final option here, allowing the users to try again. If you leave it as it is by default, this means that your students will be able to retake the activity, and you as a teacher will be able to see how many attempts they took. Okay, it's always the best score that is taken into consideration, always the best one when they take the activity multiple times. Okay. However, if you untick this box, students will still be able to retake the activity many times for revision and extra practice, but you as a teacher will only be seeing the first of their attempts. Okay, it's only the first take that counts if you untick this box. Okay, so all the other attempts will not be recorded. They can still use the platform for practice, but it's only the first take that will be taken into consideration. Okay. By default, again, this is enabled, meaning that you will have a better insights, more data about your students' performance. Okay, I will move on if there are no questions so far to the second step. The second step is content selection. Here is where I have to add the course and the content. Okay, so I will filter here, and from this drop-down menu, I will find the list of courses that I am teaching. So I will select the one to which I would like to assign these activities. And from there, I will have a list. I will have access to the whole list, the table of contents for this program. You close up A2, and if I use these arrows to reveal the content, I can navigate to the various units. Okay. You have different options here. You can select the whole unit by clicking on the slider. This automatically selects and includes all the activities that are part of Unit 1 in each of the lessons. You will see there are different activities, and these have automatically been ticked. As an alternative, what you can do is you can navigate to each of the lessons and then preview the tasks, obviously, which we really recommend. For you to see what is it that your students are asked to do in every exercise. And if you feel that this activity is should be part of that assignment, then you can tick it, okay? Then it will be automatically added. The same with other tasks. So you can always come here, review the tasks, revision of vocabulary in this case. Some of them will be listening tasks. Whenever there is listening, the audio is embedded. Of course, we saw this in the first webinar. If it's multiple choice, you will find the buttons and the menus there. Grammar exercises where usually guidance and tips are provided. You can see an example of a listening task here. Okay, so based on what you preview and what your interests are, you can select whether you want to include those activities as a part of your assignment or not. If you remember, in step 1, I decided that this assignment would be for vocabulary and grammar in unit 3. So this is what I'm going to select, okay? And I will continue to step 3. In step 3, I will have a look, I can have a look at the whole list of students in my group, in my course, okay? I can decide if I want to assign this activity to 1 student or 2 students, so 2 individual students only, by ticking their names here, or if I prefer to assign these activities to the whole class and to any students that may join the course later, which is particularly useful in this period of the year where you may have adds and drops, an add and drop period, okay? So I will leave it as it is, meaning that I'm assigning these activities to the whole class, and I will click on assign. I will get now, I'm getting a confirmation message saying that the assignment that I have created includes 8 activities for all students in this group, and it will be valid as of the 26th of September, okay? Right, so I will click on OK, and I will be immediately taken back to the assignments tab, okay? As you can see here, the assignment that I have added has been that I have created has been added here to the list of assignments, okay? So you can always filter by course. If you are teaching multiple programs, multiple courses, you select the course that you want to review or you want to find assignments for. And these are the assignments that you have previously created. You can see here that I have many of them, but this is the one that I've just set up. Obviously, no students have completed it quite yet, okay? You can also see the detail of that assignment, the course it is associated to, and the end date. We will see this when we track progress. We always have the detail of any activities that are pending marking from the teacher for the manually graded activities. We will see this later on. And also you have the detail of how many students have completed those assignments, right? So in this particular case, imagine that after setting up an assignment, you realize that you have made a mistake, that you wanted to include one more activity, or that you want to modify the dates, for example. You can click here, no problem at all, because you can always come and edit the assignment by clicking on this pencil icon. You click there. For example, I may decide that I would like the assignment to be active today, to available for my students as of today. So I can modify this. I can change any of the settings. I could include more or just remove any of the activities that I have previously selected, but I will leave it as it is in terms of content. And also I could modify the students who will have access to this assignment, okay? So now I will update my assignment, and this has been changed, as you can see here, okay? Right, so at some point, if you make any mistakes and you prefer to delete assignments, it's also possible to remove them from here using the bin, right? Good, so we've created an assignment, and any questions so far? I don't know, Lucy, if there is anything.
Yeah, there is one, well, there's a couple actually. One in the Q&A, which I think you did answer a little bit earlier, but is it possible, this is from Alison, to set how many times that students can try the assignment?
Right. So when you set up an assignment, you cannot, let me go back here, you cannot establish how many times your students will be able to take the assignments. You're just deciding whether or not you want them to be able to retake it, okay? So it's either you having access to the first score, or you having access to all the attempts, just tracking how many attempts they took. But you cannot limit to the number of attempts to a certain number, okay?
And then there's also one in the chat from Wael who said, how do we make the lesson more attractive? I'm not sure if this is down to, it was when kind of you were doing, you know, like naming your assignment. So I don't know if it's Wael, perhaps if you want to pop in the Q&A or in the chat a little bit more about what you need. But yeah, I'm not sure if it was regarding like naming the assignment or the activities that you're choosing.
Right. I kind of guess what maybe the teacher means. Making your lessons more more attractive or more engaging with your students would be something that can be easily done with the Spark by using the CPT, by projecting the content of the book, by making your lessons more interactive, you know, by showing the answers one by one, all at once, by getting your students to participate and being active participants in the classroom, by getting them to come into front of the class and using the CPT to drag and drop. There are many, many different ways. And also you can use the activities that are part of these assignments if you want, rather than assigning them for homework, you can use them in the class. So you will see that there are games, there are many activities that are good for consolidation and review, but can be easily taken into consideration when you are delivering your lessons. Okay.
Thanks, Sonia. That's it for now.
All right, thank you. So good. What we're gonna do now is I will take you to my student account, because now that I have set up an assignment for my students, it makes sense that we see how we can complete that assignment. Okay, so I have signed in as a student now. You will obviously notice some difference in the top navigation menu. There are fewer options for the students, but they have direct access to the courses and direct access to the assignments. Okay, we saw this as well in the first webinar. If you missed it, make sure that you watch the recordings, which will be very soon provided and shared with you all. Right, so the assignments are available here for the student. Okay, they can see the total list of assignments, and they also have the detail in yellow, this progress bar at the top of each assignment tile. They can see whether they have completed it or not. So those that have got a yellow bar, it's because they have already been completed. As you can see, 100% progress, it's done by the student. However, this one, which is the one that my teacher has just set up, is pending, right? So this is the way students will access and complete an assignment. They will just click on the tile to access the various activities. Remember, I selected vocab and grammar, so they have 4 exercises for vocab and 4 exercises for grammar. And then they have the detail of the due date here at the top. So starting to take any activity is by clicking on the activity, and then obviously completing, typing, or whenever it's a listening, they will have to listen and play the audio to complete the tasks. Okay, so imagine that I'm doing that, and I will make a mistake here on purpose, just imagining that I would like to get you to see. Let me write something else, for example, page again. Let me write top here, and let me write game. Okay, so some are right or some are wrong. I just want you to see that for now, as a student, I cannot see the correct answers. I won't be able to see the correct answers until I have submitted my own responses. And this is how you submit your answers as a student, okay? They need to click here on submit to get immediate feedback as to whether their answers were right or wrong, and also they get their scores, okay? Then you see that there is this new icon that has been added to the view, which is see answers. So at this moment, it's when the student can, if they want, they can have a look at the correct answers, and then obviously retake the activity. Remember, based on the settings that you as teachers will have selected, the next step will be taken into consideration. So the next step, the next attempt will be taken into consideration or not. It will only be recording the first of the attempts taken by the student, okay? So if I wanted to retake the activity, I would click here and take it again, okay? Otherwise, I would just click on the cross, and as you can see here, this activity is now showing as completed. I have my score there and the time I spent on it, okay? And it works exactly the same as in all the other tasks. So if you can move from one to another, sometimes they're and just drag and drops or drop down menus, multiple choice. Okay, so this is the way they will complete, submit, get feedback, and navigate to the next one, for example. Right? Good. Whenever there are multiple items as part of an assignment, you can see here that this activity includes different screens. So apart from typing their answers here, which is something that I can do, yeah, Wi-Fi was excellent, right? I can just submit, check my answers, and navigate to the next one. Okay, it works it's quite user friendly for students to know how to use the Spark platform. And once they have submitted their own answers, you immediately get that information, that data is recorded into your teacher's account, as we will see in a minute when we navigate to the gradebook. Okay. Something else that I wanted to show you is that students can also access the content of the assignments by clicking on the course cover, the tile in their dashboard, and then you can see that this course was set up to only assign content. That's why the student doesn't have access to Unit 4 or Unit 5 or Unit 6 in the book, because the teacher hasn't set up any assignments with content from those units, okay? This is something that we covered in the first of the webinars, that the teacher can set up the pace of the course by deciding which activities the students will have access to. So then if a student clicks on the unit, they have access to the lessons and the activities as part of that lesson, okay? Something else we would like to review with you is how students can access the ebook, okay? Very quickly, the ebook can be accessed through any of the units by clicking on the tiles and under resources, okay? Resources is where the ebook can be found. Here it is, okay? The good news is that our team is currently working on further enhancements, and the ebook will be available from the top navigation menu very, very soon. Okay, so your students will find direct access to the ebook at the top. But by the way, if you are teaching primary students or pre-primary students, the ebook is already available from the top menu for them, right? It's only for secondary and adults that the ebook is still available under resources. But as I said, we will make this consistent across all the courses. So ebook, always, if you launch it, you will get open in a different tab. And then, as we saw in the first webinar, students can navigate through, flick through the pages of the book. They can access their interactive activities and complete them. This is only for their own records. Nothing they complete on the ebook will feed into your teacher's account. You cannot track what they do on the ebook, but definitely you can track what they do on the online practice, the assignments that you set up for them and for which they get scores, and these scores are automatically taken into consideration in your gradebook. Any questions about the student view? We have seen how students can access the content, the assignments, and the ebook as a quick revision of the first webinar. I can't see any questions in.
Yeah, there's nothing come through, Sonia.
All right, good. So let's move on. So far, so good. Let's go back to my teacher's account, right? Remember, we have seen how to create an assignment from the assignment, from the assignments tab, and now we will see how is it that teachers can track class and individual student performance, okay? Again, we recommend to do this by assignment. So we will navigate to the assignments tab, and in here you will need to filter, as I mentioned before, always filter by course. This is why it's important to give your courses a unique name so that you can easily tell the difference between courses. And here, when you filter by course, you always see the list of the assignments that are in progress or that are already due, but assigned to the students in this class, right? What you need to do is reveal the content, get into the detail, drill down to the detail of the student's answers by clicking on these arrows here, okay? So you have an overview of what happened in terms of this assignment. For example, this assignment was completed by the 4 students in my class. But if I want to see their answers, I can just click on these arrows to navigate to the student scores, okay? So I have selected student 1 as an example, and you can see here that if I scroll down, I can see the various exercises that are part of this assignment, and I can see when the student took the assignment and the average score that he achieved. And also, I can see how many attempts he took. For example, this one, he took twice, and how long the student spent in the assignment, okay? If I want to have a look at the student responses, that's possible by clicking on this eyeball icon that you have here. This will give you the detail of what is it that the student did right or wrong in each particular task. So for example, here, the student forgot to write the actual adjective in each of the questions, okay? So something else that we can do if we go back to the view of this gradebook is I can filter by student directly here and select any of the other students in my group. For example, I will navigate directly to the scores that student 3 achieved. And I can see that this particular student has been struggling, especially with grammar. You see it from the scores. Also important to note that 50% or below is shown, so below 50% is shown in red, between 50 and 70% is shown in amber, as you can see here, and then 71% or above is shown in green, showing that obviously the student did well. So in this particular case, I may want to see what is it that the student did wrong in terms of grammar in this particular grammar exercises. So it's quite clear that this student would need further practice or some support. So wherever you identify areas of weakness through the gradebook, you have two options here. One, sending a message directly to the student by clicking here, send message. This is an individual, so a message that is only going to be sent to this individual student. You can say revision for next week, or come to see me in class and I will provide further help, etc. Right? Remember, these messages, any messages that you submit or that students send out via Spark are in platform messaging. You will never get a notification in your personal email address, okay? But this is a possibility. Another option would be setting a new assignment up for this particular student, providing extra exercises for practice, and obviously providing help directly face-to-face in the classroom if you're in an in-classroom environment, okay? Good. I will go back to the assignments tab to show you how is it that we can manually grade activities now. Okay, we've seen how to track progress in general by assignment, but you see here that there is a column that we have briefly mentioned at the beginning, that is manual grading. So all the activities in Spark are automatically graded by the platform, except for the speaking and writing activities, the open-ended tasks. And whenever there is a task that your students have completed and that needs your feedback, your revision, you will see it here with this number appearing next to the task. For example, in this assessment or this assignment, sorry, there are 4 students who have completed it, so there are 4 tasks that need my revision, okay? I will show you how you can do this by accessing this particular one in Unit 2, homework writing. So my students have completed the assignment, and I will navigate to the student 4 responses. Whenever there is an activity that's pending, you will see this red icon, this red pencil icon, showing that you have to enter your comments, your feedback, okay? And you have 2 options, clicking on the icon here to enter the grades and previewing their essay, or first, if you want, just preview the essay that the student completed by clicking on the icon, right? So this is how I would review the essay. It's currently not possible to add your annotations directly on the essay because this is a text box. It's not a Word file or something that the student has imported as an editable file. So you need to review it and think of the score that you will provide, and also any comments, for example, just correcting this or like this, and then providing the feedback in the actual notes that you have here, okay? So apart from the score, which you could just give them 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 and base for 10 out of 10. Based on what you offer, obviously the scale and the percentage will vary and the color shown as well, okay? So you could type your comments there and submit these to the student, okay? Right, so whenever you submit scores and you provide the grading, your students will get a message under the messages in their student account saying that, confirming that the teacher has already marked their homework and they can have a look at their scores as well. Okay, so this is how you manually grade activities, and you would do the same for any other assignments that are pending like this. Okay, also an easy way to filter by manual grading activities is to click here, and you always will have a look at all the activities that are pending your revision. Okay, good. Any questions about manual grading before we move on? We will now navigate to the grade book, and we will see how you can generate reports as well before we finish.
No questions yet, Sonia.
All right, thank you, Lucy. So let's have a look at the gradebook before we finish. So we've seen how to track student performance by assignment and obviously drilling down to the detail of the student responses, but it also makes sense to view and track student performance as a whole for the whole class, okay, to see how your students are doing as a group. This is something that can be done when you launch the course from the dashboard and if you navigate to the gradebook, okay? Clicking on gradebook here, you will have a look at the student performance again if you want, but also with the detail of the average score for the whole group, okay? So this is also always useful because it gives you the detail of how is it that the whole class is doing. And then if you want to see all the assignments that have been set up for a specific student, you can use the same arrows, similarly to what we did before from the assignments tab, to navigate to the detail of these student scores, okay? So in here, I will see the first of the assignment, the second of the assignments, the third, and I can always use the arrows to navigate to the scores and the student responses in each of the assignments, okay? That's something that can be done from the student's performance. Now, very recently, and for any courses that have been created by teachers after the 31st of August, you will see that this new tab, the class performance tab, has been added, okay? So if you have created your courses before the 31st of August, it may be that you won't have access to the class performance tab. That's totally fine. That's part of the enhancements that we are introducing. But for any new courses that you create and for new data that is submitted by your student when completing assignments, you will have access to this class performance tab, which is very useful because it provides teachers with complete visibility into class and student progress and engagement, okay? And as they complete the homework, but also the tests on the platform, including auto-graded scores, time on task, as you will see in a minute, okay? And it allows you to filter by different categories. For example, here you have view, activities, assignments, and tests. You can also filter, very useful, by skill or learning objective, allowing you to see what is it that how your students are performing in terms of grammar. And for example, grammar comprehension, the use of identifying the present continuous. And if you click on each of these categories, what you will see is a nice diagram that gives you, the global picture of what the whole class is doing, how they are performing, right? With a breakdown of their scores, right? Something else that I recommend is that by default, there are some specific settings here that you can obviously modify if you go to settings, okay? Settings will allow you to change this. For example, for this particular course, high performance is considered to be for scores that are greater than 70%, but I can easily change that and modify it. And then I can just consider that for this course, low performance should be lower than 50% instead of 40%. If you save your settings, you will see that automatically the view that you're getting, the results that you're getting are automatically adjusted, okay? And something else that is nice is that you can export every single view that you get in the gradebook by clicking here on export, and you will get an Excel file, so a report in Excel format, where you can easily add your comments, okay? This report is now being generated and will come in as a message here under messages very, very soon, okay? So let me, in the meantime, go back to the class performance tab to show you more filters that you can apply. So we've seen skills and learning objectives. We can also filter by CFR descriptors. Obviously here it's the A2 because it's Nicole's A2, right? Vocabulary control, grammatical accuracy. And in general, when you filter by activities, assignments, and tests, right? Something else that you can do here is editing the filters. Edit here, edit. And you can filter by unit. For example, I only want to see the scores that my student achieved for unit 1, right? And showing all the assigned work, for example, I will apply. And then this is what I'm getting. One of these is a test, but this is an assignment, right? So I can navigate to the detail of what my students achieved in that assignment, okay? So this is how you track class performance through the gradebook, and how you obviously can explore this to generate reports. I'm going to show you where this report comes in. It comes in as a message under news, okay? When you go to news, here is where you can open the report. It's an Excel file, and you can always edit and make comments or add your notes, right? Good. We've reached the end. I will take you back to our slides for a while, because there is something that I would like to share with you, which is a QR code that you will be able to scan if you want, for you to have a look at a video tutorial that is available on YouTube, and that showcases the student experience, okay? Something that we saw in the first of the webinars, but that will be also very useful if you want to review it, okay? How students can access the assignments and the ebook, etc., right? So here you are. And then a couple of links as well that you might find useful in this back to school period. Onboarding support for all users. This is our onboarding site where you will find user guides for teachers, for students, and very helpful video tutorials, also showcasing the features that we've seen today. And our help site for any specific questions, tech support questions. You can click there on instructor. This is the link. If you navigate to the instructor section, you will find the video tutorials I was referring to, for example, how to create and edit assignment, or how to track student progress. And then here in the Help Center, you can also search for specific articles, for example, here, assignments, right, with extra help, okay? So hopefully you will find this useful. And yeah, let's see if there are any questions, Lucy.
There's none coming yet, but perhaps people will maybe submit some now that you're finished.
Okay.
If you do have questions, pop them in the chat, pop them in the Q&A, whichever is easiest for you. And we've got a little bit of time now.
Yep. That means that it was very clear.
Yeah. Oh, Catherine said, thank you. It all looks really clear. So that's great to know. Thank you very much, Catherine.
Good, good. Okay. For any of those who haven't yet registered for the next webinar, so Mastering Spark, here is the link, with registration link and easy access to the sessions that are happening tomorrow and also next week. Yeah.
Also a note on that, Sonia, the getting started sessions, obviously this is kind of the intermediate session. If there's anything that, if you weren't able to watch a getting started session, or if there's anything that you want to clarify, we will be very shortly posting one of the recordings from our getting started session on that same website that Sonia's sharing now. So you can go there, sign up for a mastering session if you wish, or go back and watch one of the getting started sessions just to clarify anything. And if we don't have any questions, because everyone seems okay and they've got it all under control, I'll just close with a few comments. So thank you to all of you for joining, and thank you very much, Sonia, for that. Immediately after the session, you'll get a very short feedback survey. I think it's only got 4 questions. If you can just spare a minute or two just to let us know how it was. If there's anything else, in the future that you'd like to see included in sessions like this, do let us know, because we want to make them as useful as possible. If you do have any further questions about Spark, getting set up, if you're not already, or if any additional questions, do reach out to your local representative, or if you're not sure who that is, you'll find my email address on any of the follow-up emails that come out. So do reach out to me, and I'll make sure that you're in touch with the right person, whether that be Sonia or someone in your region. And finally, just be sure to join our online community for teachers on our social media channels. You can search ELT NGL on Facebook or Twitter, and we share lots of information about sessions like this, classroom tips and product information as well. So do join us, our online community. And yeah, that's everything. Thank you very much. As I said, Sonia said, sign up for a future session, and we hope to see you on another online session soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.
Bye.